A warm welcome to a fresh episode of Abhivyakti, an initiative by Delta, the Articulation Society of the Shaheed Bhagat Singh College. I am Sujal Bisht, the Research and Development Head of Delta, and it brings me immense pleasure to co-host this episode alongside my fellow Delta member Prakhar Khemka.
Thank you, Sujal. It is an absolute privilege to be here, and I am equally elated to co host this episode of Abhivyakti with you. As Sujal aptly mentioned, my name is Prakhar Khemka, and I am honored to represent Delta, the Articulation Society, on this extraordinary podcast. Together, Sujal and I are here to present you with an enlightening and captivating conversation.
Now, before we dive into inviting our today's guest, let's take a few moments to elucidate the essence of Abhivyakti. Abhivyakti is a space where we believe that expression is not just a fundamental right, but a transformative path. It is a podcast that aims to foster open dialogue, respectful debates, and meaningful conversations on a variety of contemporary issues.
So, you see, with each episode, Abhivyakti will bring forth engaging discussions and interviews with thought leaders, experts, and change makers. So, sit back, relax, and let's embark on this expressive journey together. Now, not delaying it any further, I would like to introduce you all to the guest of today's episode, Tarun Kumar Kedia. Tarun sir is an economics major alumni from KMC and is currently working at the Faculty of Law in DU. He has a strong inclination towards content creation, particularly concerning political and social issues, which he discusses extensively on his Instagram and YouTube platforms.
The objective of Tarun Sir's content is to raise awareness about political and social problems, reaching a broad audience with his informative approach. In essence, he is a multifaceted content creator who provides information spanning from historical events to contemporary political and social issues, making his content both educational and engaging. We are truly honored to have Tarun Sir as a speaker for this episode. And from here, I would like Tarun Sir to greet our audience.
Thank you so much for having me. It's really an honor to come to Shahid Bhagat Singh College, even though virtually, but it's really great to come over here. And the initiative that you have taken is really innovative because I haven't seen any other societies doing this right now, but it's really nice that you're doing this. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you, sir. And from here, our discussion will totally be centered around the topic for today, and that is the language for leadership, how effective communication drives political success. Now, I would like my co-host Prakhar Khemka to take over and start the awaited discussion with Tarun sir.
Okay, sir. So, the first question of our podcast is coming up to you. It's being a law student and an economics major, what created your initial interest in the global politics that started the inception of this content creation journey?
See, since in school, I was very keen on learning these things. But the problem was our curriculum in India is not designed as per the format that we would like it to be. So, as such, there wasn't a proper subject in school, and I never got to read about them. But all the textbooks were about Delhi Sultanate, Mughal Empire, all these things. But back in the day, we used to have a TV channel called History TV 18. So on that, they used to have shows like shows on Cold War, World Wars, American Revolution, etc. And from there, I got the taste of what these events were like, and they were very fascinating to me back then. So, and I got a deep dive in them when I came to college and discovered YouTube channels. Your audience or you might would like to note these down because I just couldn't recommend them enough. If you have a slightest bit of interest in geopolitics or politics in general, so or in the social sciences for that matter. So channels like Vox, Vice, Wendover Productions, Timeline, all these channels, and now you have like big creators that have departed from major organizations like CNBC, BBC, all these platforms, and they have created their own YouTube channels. Like you have Johnny Harris, you have Chloe Abram, and a few really great channels that very simplify the things that are inherently boring because history and social sciences, these are considered pretty boring subjects, and for good reason, of course, because it contains a lot of data, contains a lot of dates, and people think that it is not relevant to them. So if that thing is made interesting, then a lot of people will be a lot more into it. So these channels, like we have oversimplified. A very phenomenal channel if you want to learn about the two world wars, if you want to learn about what happened in the Holocaust, how Hitler rose to power, and all these major events that are very important to contemporary history as such. And for you to understand what's going to happen in the future, it's very important. The only reference you have in that matter is what happened in the past. So these events are very important for us to know what lies in front of us. So yeah, I learned a lot from YouTube. Honestly, I can tell you, I haven't read a single. Honestly, I haven't read a single book on geopolitics till date, and only recently I have started reading about them. But up until now, all I have read is self-help books and these, of course, academic books that we are supposed to read. And there were good movies as well. So if you're interested in geopolitics, there are good movies like on the Holocaust. There is Boy in Striped Pajamas. Then there is The Pianist. Really good movies that have been made on these topics that will really touch you and will make you realize how important these events were. So, and if you read about the politics of the Middle East, for example, your mind will boggle the complexity of the issues and how which country is whose enemy and why. What are the dynamics that are playing out? So it's really fascinating, and I couldn't suggest you to read about these more anymore. And as far as economics and law is concerned, I did economics honors because I liked economics back in school in class 11, 12. Big mistake. Because it had nothing to do with what was taught to me in class 11 and 12. Very complicated, very mathematical oriented. But any of you are doing economics honors? Oh, yeah? None
No,
of you. Good for you. Good for you. So, and later on, after graduation, I chose law as a subject because I found it very empowering. Like, I consider law as a very basic necessity because until and unless you know what your right is, you have no way to enforce it. And especially in this ever changing world, this is a few things that are constant and you will be needing them no matter what. So that is why I took law, and that was the background that I had. Okay.
So, sir, the next question coming up to you is, it's very evident that in today's world, where communication is a vital instrument in the success story of a country's political system, but still, even in autocratic countries like Germany, have set an example with empire building leaders like Hitler gaining immense strength and political success without two way communication. What do you think they did not require communication like the countries do in recent times?
Okay, so let's begin from Hitler. He rose to power after giving fiery speeches in the public. Okay, the public connected with him, with what he was saying, and he reached the top even after being an absolute dictator. And he was immensely popular. Like, if you would think that the perception we have of Hitler right now in the Western world or the world throughout, it wasn't like that in his country back in his day. If that would have been the case, he wouldn't have risen to the power in the first place. But if you look at his photographs, I would suggest you to Google speeches of Hitler or Mussolini for that matter. You would not have seen such a large crowd in your entire life as you would see while they were giving speeches. A huge number of people used to gather to listen to them. So there was communication from one end. Okay. Now there was a mechanism developed to stop the conversation from the other end. Like Hitler had those infamous SS guards back in the day, and all the work they had was to suppress anything or anyone who was going against the government, or for that matter, the Hitler himself. So now you are saying that countries need two-way communication. China doesn't need that. Saudi Arabia doesn't need that. North Korea doesn't need that. Russia doesn't need that. Two-way communication is only possible in democracies. Democracy, it is only democracy that there are mechanisms. Uh, just hold on for a second, I'm getting a call. Yeah, sorry for that. So two-way communication is possible only in a democracy. And in a democracy, there are mechanisms to be heard. Like you can do protests, you can write letters to your ministers, your local MLAs. Your media is free. You can post things about them on social media, and the best medium to communicate is elections themselves. So you have elections so that you can communicate what you are feeling. Are you satisfied with the policies of the government or not? All these things are possible only in a democracy. So to say that two-way communication is mandatory in today's world, it's not right. It wasn't back then as well, and it's not true today as well. It's only in the democracy in the true sense. Otherwise, China also calls itself a democracy. Russia is a democracy. They conduct elections as well. But democracy in its true sense are inherently supposed to be two-way, they promote two-way communications.
Thank you for that answer, sir. Very aptly said. Now, sir, there's one question that we have for you, and we would like you to answer it from the perspective of a content creator. So, how does the use of digital platforms like Instagram and YouTube impact political communication today? Are there any notable politicians using these channels effectively?
Everyone uses them. Now, all they are doing is using them because going door to door and spreading your message or putting up hoardings, they have become substantially ineffective and come at a very high cost. The logistical challenges that have come up are far greater than just running a social media ad campaign for that matter. So you must have seen top ministers of the government, the cabinet ministers, coming on the Ranveer show and different podcasts as well, and telling their stories, trying to connect with the youth because they are all they do. The primary objective of every politician, no matter what they say, is to garner votes. And after a certain point of time, they look at a long-term goal. The youth they are not relevant right now, but in the coming 5 to 10 years, they will be very relevant because India is a very young country, but it won't be so young after, say, suppose 10 to 20 years. So they need, and the biggest problem that they are facing is the youth is not watching the news. They don't want to associate themselves with politics, and those who want to associate themselves are in politics. So the problem that they are facing is to connect with the upcoming youth. They are doing all they can, and like for example, the best use of social media, I'm telling you, it's kind of a hack as well. If you are going through a train and you face a problem, what you can do is you can tweet directly to the railway minister. Suppose this is my PNR number and this is my berth. So I'm facing this problem. This person is harassing me, or this person is sitting on my seat and not getting up, or the AC is not working. Immediately within 5 to 10 minutes, if a person is sitting occupying your seat, an RPF member will board the train from the next station and will vacate your seat. Or if you need a doctor's assistance, that will be provided to you. The AC will be repaired. All these things are happening through social media handles themselves, and the ministers are using their personal handles to do them. And suppose now the best example of politicians using social media is our Prime Minister himself. He called recently famed our social media star Ankit Dhyanpuria, Ram Ram Bhai Sarene. So he called him because he knows what is relevant in the youth. Na? He's getting that feedback and he needs that validation from everyone. So to get that, he's doing everything that he can to relate to the public, to get to the youth. He's a social media star. So apart from social media users, nobody knows him. So he's targeting that audience himself. And nowadays, if you notice, any government scheme, any infrastructure project, they make a proper 3D rendered modeling. They make proper videos. Any highway is being made, anything is being inaugurated, they make a proper presentation even before it is built. Say it will be built, say 5 years ahead of time, and they will release the video right now that this is what will be built after 5 years. So all this is happening on social media itself. And now if you notice, before every election, no matter if it is a state election, a local election, we had our Delhi University elections as well. No matter which election is it, especially Lok Sabha elections, you have songs being created that are like widely being used on social media. Hum Modi ji ko lane wale hain. Then all these songs that were created within all these elections. So they are created, and you must notice that all the actors they use on these videos, they are also very young, very hip type. Matlab, they do not have that connect yet. They haven't cracked that code yet, but they're trying their level best because most of the people in politics are old. So they are not being able to make that connection immediately, but they are trying their level best. And that's all they are trying to figure out right now. And everyone is trying to use them.
Absolutely, sir. I hope our audience get to gain some beautiful insights and information from this answer of yours. So, sir, moving on to our next question for you. For our avid listeners, most of them would have this doubt in their mind that what advice communication skills.
So see, what I feel, I happened to write this for like back in my day. I feel like I'm old. Back when I was in college, we used to get Hindu newspaper. So they also asked this question that what is something that you would want the colleges to add to their curriculum. So I had written an article on why communication skills is important and why leadership skills are important, and that got published as well. So it tells how important this skill is. It's not only about politics, it's not only about leadership. It is an inherent quality in every career field that you choose. You will be needing it, you will be feeling its requirement, and I will give you suggestions that you can actually implement, not just any fluff that you might hear for 5 minutes and forget about it. So, right now you are in college, take up opportunities that you get on public speaking. Every opportunity you get, and trust me, you get lots of them. If you look for them, you will get lots of them. Like hosting events, like you're doing right now. These you two are doing right now. Asking questions during seminars. We used to have seminars. Right before you ask a question to, suppose a guest has come, a professor has come, or a politician has come to address a seminar, and they open the floor for asking questions. Hardly from a crowd of 100, 200 people, hardly one or two raise their hands. And if you are one of them who raises the hand, you will understand that your heart start beating really fast right before asking that question. I used to experience that a lot, and it used to make me feel alive. That this is incredible. Matlab, you are getting this rush just by asking a simple question, harmless question. You won't get a trophy by asking that question. Nothing will happen with that. No one is going to even listen to you. All these 100, 200 people are zoned off. They are just waiting for this seminar to get over. So everyone is waiting for this seminar to be over, but still you are paying attention to ask that question. And just because you faced that fear, you try to push yourself out of that comfort zone, you have progressed in public speaking. There was a survey that which is the biggest fear that people have, and it turned out death was second. Fear of death was second. First was public speaking. This is how people are scared more than death about public humiliation. Public humiliation is a big deal, very big deal. To get embarrassed in front of friends, to get embarrassed in front of your girlfriend, it's a big deal. And to get over the fact that, because no one gives a shit, no one cares that you are embarrassed, no one cares that you are sorry, no one cares you embarrassed yourself in front of 100 people or 500 people, because they are too obsessed about themselves. All they care about, all they think about is themselves. Like you are doing when you think about what others are thinking, you just think about what you are thinking. All you're thinking about is yourself. So when you are thinking about yourself, everyone else is also applying that same logic. So take opportunities, ask questions in seminars, ask questions in class. Even in class, you'll be scared to death to ask a question. How irrelevant, how stupid, it doesn't matter. You'll be scared, even if it's a valid question. To point out a teacher's mistake, no matter. But you might be called a nerd or anything. Anything can happen, but still you'll be scared. And that's nice. That's good. That tremble in your heart, that hands shaking, your legs shaking, it's very good. Because if you get this out of your system right now, you will feel free. You will feel that you have conquered a very big thing in your life. You will be able to stand in front of thousands of people, and people will be willing to listen to you. Now, these are very small steps. Now, what you can do is, second thing, you are in Delhi University. I cannot emphasize this enough. While I was in college, we used to make a calendar. We used to maintain a list with my friends that शहीद भगत सिंह में आज ये इवेंट है, हिंदू में ये इवेंट है, स्टीफेंस में ये इवेंट है, यहाँ जाना है. We have to go over these 3 places because these events are so good, and it doesn't happen anywhere else in the world, I must say, because it is only in Delhi that we have 65 colleges. It is only over here that we are able to participate in them. We have mock stocks. We have Model United Nations, a very good platform to get over your fear of public speaking, to get to know about how United Nations functions, how Lok Sabha functions. Take part in these events. I cannot emphasize this enough. And make yourselves comfortable in these situations, and you will be a very good speaker. I'm assuring you, you will be very good at these things. And thirdly, see, content is king. Confidence alone will not help you. What the things that I told you is to build up confidence, but to ask that thing without content is useless. You should have substance in you. To build that substance, read. People have stopped reading. Read newspapers. Just don't read anything else. Just read newspapers. You'll stay updated. You will take part in conversations. You will have discussions with your friends. कि भाई ये सही था, ये गलत हो गया, ये ऐसे हो गया, ये वैसे हो गया. Don't watch news. Just read newspapers, and that will be very helpful for you. Even if you are thinking of preparing for a competitive exam or anything else in life in general, just read newspapers. It will keep you updated. It will help you a lot. So, got a little preachy, but these are the things I would like to suggest.
Absolutely, sir. Your answers seem to be hitting or connecting the youth deep down their hearts and minds.
So, sir, our next question would be, in the context of college life, how can students engage in constructive discussions about political and social issues, even when faced with diverse viewpoints and strong emotions?
So see, the primary thing, I think I'm repeating myself, but the primary thing is staying informed. News nowadays is very biased, very radicalized. If you look at one channel, most of the channels are pro-government. Most of the social media channels are anti-government. These are the 2 themes that they are following right now, and there are very few channels that actually give neutral content, which is why, and the type of content you like, the algorithm has been made in such a way that you will be pushed to see that the content you'll be suggested on social media platforms are as such that they will be reinforcing your beliefs and what you have read about. So I would suggest there are few good English channels. We have Vion and First Post. These are the 2 good media outlets that have good content and talk in a neutral tone. They don't shout and do such things. And you have in Hindi, you have Lallan Top. These are the few things they create good content, and they have like the most important thing. What I think is at this age, to form an opinion is to form character. Good opinion will help you form character. It will help you grow as a person. So forming an opinion is important. Just saying that I don't care, I don't know about this, or it doesn't affect me, will not lead you anywhere. So having an opinion is important, but you should have an informed opinion, not just an opinion about anything you just picked up from social media or your friends or your parents. You just gathered them and formed your opinion and consider yourself the character. You have acquired that character. But if you read about things and then make a decision and make an informed decision, that will be very much beneficial. And then when you have these discussions, it will be helpful. But as far as friends are concerned, I would suggest don't have political discussions. I don't. Because all you will end up is doing abusing each other. It won't lead you anywhere. So I don't discuss politics with my friends because these small disagreements just make your life harder. Just discuss, if you want to discuss them, discuss it with someone else, discuss it on social media, or with not so good friends, discuss it with them, but don't discuss it with good friends. It will ruin your friendship. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir.
So, sir, the next question is somewhat related to your personal life. So, I would like you to share a personal anecdote or story from your own content creation journey that illustrates the power of effective communication in raising awareness about political and social issues.
See, as such, in my personal life, I haven't done any such political movement as such. But in CLC, we like in law school, we get to participate in these things. But I'll tell you a story. With see, effective communication is everything right now. More than the policy itself, the communication, how it is perceived by the public, is important. Let me give you an example of demonetization. It was a terrible idea. It had no substantial results. Everyone knows that. Even the government knows that, and the opposition knows that. Everyone knew about it, but still there was no major protest. There was no one actually going against it because it was communicated properly. There was public participation involved. People were thinking that they are contributing to nation building. So that communication really helped. And even though it was a terrible idea, it did not face any backlash. But just contrary to that, look at farm laws. If you have read farm laws, there are pros and cons, but mostly it is a good idea. It is a good policy. Still, it was not perceived well with the public. There was huge protest, and it was at last it wasn't implemented. So you can see the difference. If a good policy, but no implementation because of lack of communication, and a bad policy but good communication, and still was perceived well with the public. So these events happened in our lifetime. These are the events that took place just a few years back. So we are all very relatable to that. We all can relate to this. Now, if you go back in time, all major revolutions, say Russian Revolution by Lenin, was done through great communication, and lack of it in the Romanov family led to the assassination of the entire family, and the 300-old monarchy was gone in a few days. So good communication, even with a bad policy, even a policy that will ruin your country, will be taken nicely, and a good policy with bad communication will not be implemented, will be opposed in large numbers, no matter what happens.
Absolutely, sir. A great insight. So, sir, I have a follow-up question to not this answer of yours, but the answer to the previous question that you just gave. You just said that share your opinions freely, share opinions with freely with anyone. But often, even I have seen in this sort of mindset in younger people, and often in myself as well. That is, whenever you try to share opinion with someone else, you obviously have that thought revolving out in your back end of the mind that okay, whatever opinion I share, what will be the other person listening to us will be thinking, or how will they actually be commenting on that opinion or ours further. So to actually tackle that, what will you actually suggest to our youth, especially the college going students,
You
when
don't
they
have
face
to
such
tackle that.
anxiety?
You don't have to tackle that. My suggestion is don't tackle that. Just you have your opinion. That is who you are. That is what you have read, and that is what you feel is right. So be that is being vulnerable. When you put yourself in the media, when you put yourself on social media, I get at least 10 slangs a day on my social media feed. If I care about them, I won't be putting the next video. And just because of that, I will not share my opinion is no excuse. I will, um if I have something to say that I feel is worth saying and is worth people's time to listen, then I will say it. It bothers you, it's your problem, it's none of mine. So that is the point, that is the attitude that you need to have. But you should be understanding and considerate of the fact that the person listening to you should not be offended. If it is, if you're saying is very, if you're saying something is that is very normal, and you are just keeping your opinion, you're not trying to single out that person or offend, particularly trying to offend that person, then it's fine. But if you are trying to do the otherwise, or you are targeting a particular community or spreading hate, that's completely different. But as far as policy opinions are concerned, world politics is concerned, or for that matter, any other thought that you have is concerned, you don't need to mince your words. You can be you can say whatever you want, but the thing is, you have to be considerate of the other person, and if that leads to a lot of tension, then you have to avoid that. You have no other option left.
I reckon in your initial days of content creation, even you must have faced such problems, or not?
I did, but what I felt was I had really good friends. I had really supportive friends in the beginning of my. The first few videos were the hardest, and I always dreamed of making such videos. So, uh, I I was thinking about making these videos since 2 to 3 years, but I was able to take that leap just 1 year back. And when I see my old videos, I feel that what have I made? It doesn't make any sense. The first video that I made, I don't like that video. Of course, no one will like their first videos. And even I would suggest, like, if you have heard Mr. Beast say, you will not like your 100 videos. All you have to do is just improve 1% in every video that you are making. And as you will mature, as you will make more content, as you will putting yourself out in the world is making yourself vulnerable, and people will attack you, people will question you. So these things are normal, and if you get over that fact, things are easy.
Obviously, the initial few steps that you take are the most difficult, I reckon, especially in the field of
Exactly.
content creating, right? Yeah.
Exactly. Prakhar, you're not audible.
I'm really sorry. So the next question would be that being from an economics background, I believe you're the person to answer the next question, which is if you could provide us with insights into the intersection of economics and effective political communication, or in simpler words, how does economic policy relate to leadership communication?
See, I won't go very technical on this because I can't. The thing is, I I don't think there is any direct relation between the two, but yes, economic policy acts as a political leverage. Let me give you an example what political leverage is. Uh, we got our independence. After independence, we were food insecure. We did not have enough food to feed our people. So, which means we did not grow enough food. We even had to import our staple grains like wheat. Now, America back in that time, was food surplus, and because it didn't want its local markets, the prices of the local markets to crash, they were sending the wheat throughout the third world countries at a very subsidized rate, and India got the benefit of this, and the agreement was called PL 480, and India was a beneficiary to this agreement. Now, this led to India being dependent on USA, even for its food, which is a very basic necessity. There were widespread famines back then. You must have heard about the Bengal famine and all these people, tens of lakhs, millions of people used to die in famines back in the day. You don't hear about them now anywhere in the world. So the thing is, we got very dependent on USA back in the day. Now, what they started doing was they started using this leverage that they got on us for arm twisting us on going to their side. Whenever we used to oppose any policy or take our stand, we were not opposing, we don't have the capacity to oppose USA, but suppose our stand on Pakistan. Pakistan was the biggest ally of USA back in the day. So, in the wars that followed with Pakistan, the Bangladesh Liberation War, or the Kargil War, any of the wars, USA used to stop giving us grains. And that used to be a big problem for us. So this led to us thinking about different ways. The leaders back then, Lal Bahadur Shastri and Indira Gandhi, they all tried to come up with solutions with this. And at that time, HYV seeds came up, and these HYV seeds led to the Green Revolution. And this Green Revolution made us from a net importer to an exporter. We became a food surplus nation. So that is how we came out of the leverage, that political leverage that happened due to the economic consequences of Indian system. The same thing happened in 1991 the forex crisis that happened. We did not have enough uh, forex reserve with us, and IMF arm twisted us for having liberalization. So politics is very much dependent upon economics, because economics creates leverages. You have, like, the dollar is a dominant form of currency to do trade in every, like, the international trade is being done in dollars. So this leverage becomes very much useful for every country in geopolitics. So this is how I think economics relates to politics. Other than that, how communication relates to economics, I have no idea. I don't think so it does, but this is what I think.
So I don't think that I will go a bit deep. I would like you to actually go a bit deeper into this. But in brief, what do you think? How does it relate to Israel and Palestine war, or does it even relate to that stuff? What are your
What,
views over it?
economics or political leverage?
Political leverage or just communication? Will communication actually provide between these two nations? Will actually provide any solution or not? Just your short view on it.
Political leverage as such, uh, see, the dynamics of the Middle East is very different of what we perceive it. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict is ages old, but and economics plays a big role in this, because Israel as an economy developed itself fairly quickly, because Jews were a very affluent community back in the Western countries, and they made a very strong economy back in the day, which, whereas Palestine wasn't able to do that even with the support of other Arab countries. And this made the pivotal difference between the situation of Palestine and Israel that has come up right now. And the major, see, Palestine has its allies. It has Iran, it has Lebanon, it has Saudi, it has everyone. All the Arab countries in favor of Israel. But the economic powers that come with Israel, uh, due to the support of USA and other Western countries, is overpowering even the uh, overwhelming support that Palestine has. And this is one of the reasons that what happened did happen. So, and the Israeli state has occupied a lot of extra territories that were there in Palestinian control. But this is what the current situation is.
Yeah, so thank you for some real insights on this topic.
So by now we are all aware that you come with a passion for content creation. So could you share some key takeaways or strategies from your content creation experience that can be applied to political communication, making it more engaging and relatable?
See, it hasn't been very long since I started creating content, but the tips, the formulas that I was able to decode is keep it short. Remove anything that can be removed. The people relate to simple language. People relate to short, crisp videos. They want, because our attention spans have reduced considerably, we want information, especially when you're providing information. Like if you're creating some other content, I have no idea about that, but when you are creating infotainment videos, you need to be very crisp, very to the point. Otherwise, you won't be able to hold people's attention. It's very difficult to hold people's attention nowadays with people dancing on Instagram. It's even more difficult. So you have to be very focused about what you are, what is the message that you are trying to relay. And contrarian views, the if your views are different from what the norm is, you are challenging the basic norms of society, that will get you a lot of coverage. Now it doesn't mean that you will start opposing every other policy or every other norm that is there in the society, but what you feel is right, what you feel should be the case. If you think you are alone thinking about this, you are wrong. There are people that have a similar thought process, so you'll be able to relate with them. Those people will, you will give those people a voice. You will be able to give meaning to what they were also trying to say, and you were able to bring that up on a social media platform. Now, another thing that I would like to say is content is king. The basic, no matter how good your editing is, no matter how good your setup is, no matter how much investment you have done in your equipments, content will always be the king. Now, the basic, your idea should be very sorted. You should have a very crisp idea about what is the message that you're trying to relay. If you are not passionate about your content, don't make it. Don't make it at all. If you don't come from a mindset that this will work or this will go viral or this people will like this. People will like what you will like. If you like it, if you think this will work, if it is good enough for you, if you're proud of your work and you're passionate about your work, only then it will work. It will not work any, no matter how much you work hard on that, it will not or not work. And you, as this field requires consistency, you won't be consistent as well. If you're not passionate about your work, you will be making 2-3 videos. After that, your motivation will wave off, and after that, you won't be making any more videos. So if the grunt work, suppose I am making videos on politics, so I like researching about politics, I like political stories, I keep reading them. So this is the boring part, and I'm enjoying the boring part. So when I'm enjoying the boring part, the interesting part is automatically very interesting for me. I will like the validation that I'll get. I like the attention that I'm getting. I like the followers. I like coming to podcasts when the colleges invite me. So these are the things that will make me happy. So these are the things that will make anyone happy. But the back end work, if that is making you happy, then you can keep on making videos for your entire life, and it will take you to places. It will open opportunities for you. It is just like having an open door where people can come, invite you, ask you what value you bring to their lives. So you can become a change maker just by being passionate about your content. And choose a niche. Don't choose a very particular niche, but choose a niche. Don't be very particular that I'll be making videos only on Narendra Modi. मतलब बहुत ज़्यादा niche हो जाने से it creates a problem, because you will be limiting your audience. You won't get a proper response. Choose a niche, like there is fashion. So make only fashion videos. Don't start making travel vlogs as well. So choose a particular area and build a community around it, and people will join in. No one, people. There is a huge demand for good content. There is a huge demand. I'm telling you, because you might think that a lot of people used to tell me as well that a lot of people are making content. Every other person is making content. No, I don't know anyone else who's making content. Do you? They don't, because people are making rubbish content. They are making cringe videos. They are making dancing videos. It has abundance, and even good informative videos has abundance. But everyone has its own style. Everyone has its own area of expertise. No one can be a better you. You are the best version of you, na? So you bring a different type of character to that content. So that is something I felt, and I have had a very small journey, so I won't be able to tell you a lot about this. But yeah.
Thank you so much, sir, for these insights. Obviously, even motivation has some limit. So you need to actually find something that is permanent, as you said, passion for a particular thing. So the next question is, as you must be already knowing that college students often use social media to express their opinions. So what should they actually keep in mind to ensure that their online communication is effective, respectful, and contributes to meaningful dialogues?
See, as I said in when you said about discussing it with your friends or things like that, the same goes with online. Be informed. Don't fall into. Don't just hold on for a second. Yeah. So if you are informed, if you are well versed with the knowledge that you have, and if you are willing to accept the fact that there is no right answer, there is no one ideology that is right. There is no one ideology that can solve all your problems. You will be fine. You will be having healthier discussions. You will be willing to consider the other person's point of views. It is only then you will be able to have a healthy social media life, when you have an open mind and take in ideas. Like, if you have a very this is my personal suggestion, if you have a very right mindset, you will lean towards the right. So watch very left leaning content. So then you will be forming opinions in the center. If you don't reinforce your ideologies, don't reinforce the beliefs that you have, challenge them. If you are challenging your beliefs, if you are challenging your belief systems, you will be growing as a person. If you think that Modi ji is doing right, then to watch NDTV, watch live mint, watch scroll, all these, watch what are these other channels that way, whatever, all these left-leaning channels, watch them. If you think Modi ji is doing wrong, then don't watch a lot of them, but consume a good amount of right-leaning content so that you come in center. You have an open mind, you have eyes to see, you have you have a brain that functions, you have a good opinion that you can make from it. So that is my suggestion.
Thank you, sir. I think with this, we come to the end of our questions, and all of our cups are fully filled up to the brim with your beautiful insights. So with this, we come to the end of our episode. Thank you so much for joining us today on Abhivyakti. We've had the pleasure of hearing from our amazing guest, Tarun Kumar Kedia, and we couldn't be more grateful for the insights and knowledge shared. It's been an enlightening conversation.
Before we wrap up, I want to extend our deepest gratitude to Tarun sir for taking the time to be with us and share his expertise. Your contributions have been invaluable, and we're sure all of us have gained a lot from this episode.
And to our listeners, thank you all for tuning in, and we look forward to having you with us on the next episode. Until then, stay curious, stay informed, and most importantly, stay tuned.